Welcome to this video. It is called How to Sell Yourself in an Interview, and I'm going to go through a new unique process on how to do it. So stay tuned. So a lot of people think that preparing for an interview, the answer to preparing for an interview is like practicing your stories over and over and over again, anticipating the answer to every possible question there could be, and just basically cramming before the test, right? And we know that that doesn't really work super well. So if that's the way that you've been doing it so far, I'm going to give you some unique ways, a unique process to prepare for an interview that is not like that. So that stuff has its place, and it's definitely valuable to know what you're going to talk about and know the stories that you're going to talk about. But I'm going to go a bit deeper than that, and I'm going to explain to you the unique process and the key components of your mindset that you need to nail in order to really, really sell yourself in an interview and get the job. The first one is knowing your own value. So simple, I know, but most people don't actually know their own value at all. So you've been in your job, doing your job, probably thinking that it's no big deal, that you're just doing what you're doing, and not really recognizing the impact that you've had on the company or what would have happened if you were not there. So those are the two questions I want you to ask. After every story, after every point that you want to bring up in an interview, I want you to ask yourself, what was the impact that you had? What was the impact that the work that you did had on the organization, on your department, for your boss? What was the impact? And secondly, what would have happened if you were not there and you didn't do what you did? Okay. So it's kind of like the so what test. It's like you tell the story and then you're like, so what? And the answer to the so what is the impact and what would have happened if you were not there. When you know these things for yourself, then you're going to be able to articulate them and communicate them a lot stronger, and you're going to be confident and proud to do so. Then you want to be able to sell yourself on yourself. So can you confidently go in there and say, yes, I would hire me? And if so, why? Why would you hire you? Be very, very honest with yourself. Are you committed? Are you a hard worker? Do you know how to figure things out? Are you resourceful? What have you done in the past that will show that? Not just tell them, but actually show them that. What is it that you bring to the table that is so difficult for them to say no to? Right? What is it? What is the massive, tremendous value that you bring to the table that would be a no-brainer for them to be like, we need this person, right? So that's you got to sell yourself on yourself first, right? And that's where confidence is going to come from. Some people ask me, what happens if I've never done something before that they need me to do, right? What happens if I don't have experience with a certain software? It's totally fine. A lot of people get jobs without having experience with that specific software or with that specific thing that they need done, right? That is not the be all and end all. It's not why people get hired, right? So lots of people can be trained to use a new software or to do a new process or to follow a new process, but you can't train somebody to have a good attitude, right? You can't train somebody to be a likable person, to be good to work with, to be somebody that you just want to hire and want to work with and are excited to work with. You can't train someone for that, but you can definitely train somebody on how to use a program, how to use the software, or how to follow a process or follow instructions or how to do something. You can train someone on all those things. When they ask you, or when you want to address that question of how do I do something I've never done before, you want to draw on your commitment and your experience of doing things before that you hadn't done and figured out. So think of as many times as you can where you had to do something that you'd never done before, right? So maybe it was taking a test in school. Maybe it was figuring out something in your previous job. Maybe it was doing something around the house that you'd never done. Maybe it was fixing your own car. Like, what was there a situation in your life where you had to figure something out that you'd never done? And how'd you do that? What was your thought process? What did you go through in your head to figure that out and do it? And that will give you confidence thinking back at that and highlighting that experience for yourself, and also give them confidence that you have the ability to figure something out. When you do have to figure something out you've never done before, you probably had to try a few things, right? Probably didn't work the first time. You probably had to do something else. You probably had to maybe Google something, maybe ask somebody something, right? But you had ways of figuring it out, because we all do, because we have a human brain and we can do it, right? If we're committed enough, if we're determined enough, we can figure anything out. That's where you want to talk about is your resourcefulness. right? Your resourcefulness and your abilities to do something. So experience does not equal capability. And when you understand that, then you can convey that in the interview and you can show confidence in your ability to figure something out, not just whether or not you've done it before or not, because that can easily be trained. Somebody would much rather hire somebody with a good attitude, with commitment, with the ability to take massive action, with a track record of figuring things out that they'd never done before, versus somebody who has a lot of experience but isn't as nice to work with, doesn't have as positive attitude, kind of thinks they know everything, right? So there's definitely room for you to show yourself as somebody who they want to work with and can be excited to work with, even if you don't have that actual experience yet. All right, third thing, when you can take the focus off of yourself, you can put it directly onto them, what's important to them, what they want, what they need, what stresses them out, what their priorities are, you can completely relax because the pressure is no longer on you. You are legitimately just wanting to figure out what it is they need so that you can help them. And they want you to be great. Let's remember that, okay? When they have invested time in wanting to interview you, they've seen you on paper, they know kind of what you're about, they've decided that you're worth the time to speak to in person. They want you to be a great candidate. They're thinking, I really hope this person is it. I really hope this person can deliver. Excited to meet this person, right? Because they don't want to go through endless interviews. They want to find their person, right? So when you know that and you can go in there with that same really high intention, low attachment mindset of like, I'm really interested in helping them genuinely, and I'm committed and I'm going to do whatever it takes to help them, then they can feel that from you, and that aligns you with them and with the role, and it makes them want to hire you. The next point is align yourself with the role. Come up with a list of reasons why you are the best person to fill that role in that company. Why are you the best person? So come up with as many reasons as you can for yourself so that then when you speak, you can articulate those reasons effortlessly and flawlessly. This is the pre-work that you can do. Why are you the best person for the role? Selling yourself on yourself. Deciding ahead of time what it is that you figured out before that you didn't know how to do, right? Deciding ahead of time your stories. So if you have stories in mind that you want to talk about, you definitely want to convey in those stories your capability and your experience. But remembering that your stories are so much more than just that story. That story tells more about you and your personality as a whole. It's not just that story, right? Because remember what I said, the impact that you had and what would have happened if you were not there. Right? And so it gives them a bigger picture of who you are, what you're like to work with, how you handle situations, what your thought process is. And so when you can really tell those stories can definitely win people over, right? Especially if you can show humility, show that you're not perfect, talk about your mistakes in a way that shows that you're accepting of yourself and that you've learned and you've become a better, stronger person for those mistakes. Those are super strong points to bring up in an interview. Thank you so much for watching. That's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you didn't like it, and I will see you next week for another video. Don't forget to subscribe. Those are my puppies. They're just saying hi, and I will see you next week. Bye.